Why do you show no fear, human? The alien woman was surprised by my courage. Alex stepped off the landing pod and felt the strange weight of this world immediately. The air shimmered faintly, not heavy or thin, just different. Colors seemed sharper, yet oddly soft, as if the light itself was alive. Towering crystal spires rose around the landing site, reflecting the twin suns in patterns that made Alex's eyes ache with their brilliance. She tightened her grip on the exploration pack slung over her shoulder and looked up at the city that stretched beyond the horizon. "Stay calm," she muttered to herself. "It's just another mission. Nothing here can scare you." But she did not just mutter words, she meant them. Alex had trained for years for situations like this. She had faced zero-gravity mishaps, storms on Mars, and the claustrophobic depths of alien caves. Fear was natural, but panic was not. Here on this alien planet, she would rely on her mind, not instinct alone. The team's leader, Commander Holt, stepped out behind her. His eyes scanned the spires with caution, muscles tense. "Remember, these creatures, if you can even call them that, may not react kindly to intruders. Stay alert." Alex nodded, her boots crunching over the soft, glassy ground. The city was alive with faint hums and glimmers, as if it breathed and pulsed with its own energy. Tiny floating lights moved among the spires, darting like curious birds, but far too precise for nature. As they approached a large plaza at the city's center, the atmosphere shifted. A presence met them, almost invisible until it moved. Then she appeared. Lyra, the alien woman, was unlike any species Alex had seen. She was tall, slender, and moved with a grace that seemed both natural and controlled. Her skin glowed faintly with soft blue tones, and her eyes, large and multifaceted, reflected every color around them. She did not approach immediately, she observed. Alex felt her heart rate rise, but only slightly. Fear whispered in the back of her mind, but she held it down. She had a job. She had to show caution, yes, but not weakness. Lyra spoke, her voice melodic yet firm, a tone that carried authority without shouting. "Humans," she said, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You come to our city uninvited. Why?" Commander Holt stepped forward, hand raised in a universal gesture of peace. "We come in peace," he said, his voice careful. "We are explorers, scientists. We seek knowledge, not conflict." Lyra tilted her head as if assessing his words and measuring their weight. Then her gaze shifted to Alex, who had remained silent at the back. "And you," she said, her voice sharper now, "you show no fear. Why?" Alex met her gaze steadily. She did not flinch. "Because fear does not solve problems," she replied simply. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. The other aliens whispered among themselves, low sounds that made the air vibrate. It seemed they had never seen a human stand so calmly before an unknown and potentially dangerous creature. Before more words could be exchanged, a sudden tremor shook the ground. The crystal spires vibrated, sending a resonant hum through the plaza. Sparks of energy crackled along some of the taller structures. Alex felt the vibrations under her boots and immediately dropped into a defensive stance, scanning for danger. Lyra's expression changed from curiosity to alarm. "It is the magnetic storm," she said. "It comes without warning. You must leave the plaza." Commander Holt barked orders, but Alex was already moving. She noticed that some of the floating lights had begun spinning in rapid patterns, their movements erratic, indicating the storm's arrival. Using her knowledge of physics, she calculated the safest path across the plaza, avoiding the strongest energy pulses. "Follow me," she shouted, her voice cutting through the hum of the storm. The team hesitated for only a moment before trusting her judgment. As they moved, a spire suddenly cracked, sending shards of crystal bouncing across the plaza. Alex dove to shield a fellow human from the debris, rolling to her feet and guiding the team forward. Lyra watched, eyes wide, as Alex moved not with blind fear but with calculated precision. When they reached a safer zone, Alex took a moment to catch her breath. Her heart was racing, yes, but her mind was sharp. She scanned the others, noting minor injuries but nothing life-threatening. Lyra approached cautiously, her curiosity fully replacing any suspicion she may have held. "You are not like the others," Lyra said softly. "You do not panic when the storm comes. Why?" Alex shrugged lightly. "Because fear is useless if it controls you. I focus on what I can do, not what I cannot." Lyra's eyes lingered on her, studying every expression, every micro-movement. "Courage does not usually come from humans," she said finally. "You are surprising." Alex gave a small smile. "Maybe humans are full of surprises. The storm passed as quickly as it had arrived, leaving behind shattered crystals and a humming silence. The alien citizens emerged cautiously, looking at Alex and her team with a mixture of awe and suspicion. Lyra raised a hand and the crowd fell silent. "Stay," she commanded. "I wish to learn more about you." Alex felt a spark of satisfaction. She had passed the first test, even if she did not know it. Her courage was not the absence of fear, but the control of it, the ability to act in the face of danger without letting panic dictate her choices. As the humans settled into the alien city, Alex observed the surroundings more carefully. The architecture was not merely for beauty, it had function. Energy flowed through the spires in precise patterns. The floating creatures seemed almost like drones, monitoring and adjusting the environment. Every detail spoke of a civilization far advanced, far beyond what humans had yet encountered. Lyra led Alex to a chamber that looked like a library, though nothing resembled human books. Holographic panels hovered in midair, displaying flowing scripts and dynamic diagrams. "This is how we preserve knowledge," Lyra explained. "Each being here contributes, observes, and improves. Humans, you are curious creatures, yes," Alex nodded. "Very, curiosity is one of our strengths." Lyra studied her for a long moment, as if weighing the truth of the statement. "Strength is often measured in how one reacts under pressure. You demonstrate strength I have rarely seen." Alex shrugged again. She had learned long ago that modesty often mattered less than action. "I act, that's all. We all have moments where fear can overwhelm. The choice is whether to let it or not." Lyra's eyes glimmered faintly. "Perhaps humans have something other species lack. Not power, not speed, but resolve. I must study this." Over the following hours, Alex learned more about the alien city and its people. The aliens were organized, disciplined, and highly intelligent, but there was an underlying rigidity. They avoided risks, valuing caution above all else. Humans, Lyra noticed, were unpredictable, yet their unpredictability often led to solutions the aliens would never imagine. By evening, the humans were allowed to rest in the city's safe zones, crystal rooms that glowed softly and adjusted their temperature automatically. Alex stood at a balcony watching the alien sky darken with the approaching twin night cycles. Lyra appeared beside her, quiet, reflective. "You are not afraid of the unknown," Lyra said after a moment. "That is unusual." Alex looked at her calm. "The unknown is only unknown until you explore it. Fear only delays discovery." Lyra smiled faintly, a gesture of approval in her culture. "Then perhaps humans are braver than I assumed. You may teach us something." Alex felt a quiet satisfaction, but she did not let her guard down. This planet, these people, were fascinating, but they were still alien. Understanding them would require patience, observation, and courage. She was ready for it. The night came, and with it, a silence that was almost alive. The city shimmered under the twin moons, crystal spires glowing softly, and Alex felt a sense of both awe and purpose. Here she was, a human among beings far older and more advanced than herself. Yet in the moments of crisis, she had acted without fear, and that had earned her a place in this strange world. Lyra's voice broke the silence. "You show no fear, human, even when the storm came." "Why?" Alex smiled, not boastfully, but with quiet confidence. "Because fear cannot guide me. Only action can. That is all any of us can do." Lyra considered this, eyes reflecting the glow of the crystal city. "Then you are different. Perhaps humans are not to be underestimated after all." Alex turned back to the view, feeling the weight of the unknown, but also the thrill. The adventure had just begun, and she was ready. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft hum of the alien city. The crystal walls of her quarters glowed faintly, adjusting their brightness to match the rising light outside. She stretched and felt a sense of anticipation. Today, Lyra had promised to show her more of the city and, as Alex suspected, to observe her abilities in situations humans might find intimidating. When she stepped into the hallway, Lyra was already waiting. The alien woman's posture was upright, almost regal, but her eyes held a spark of curiosity. "We have much to do," Lyra said. "I want to see how you adapt." Alex nodded. "I'll do my best." Their first stop was the city's main observation deck. From there, the view was breathtaking. Spires stretched in every direction, some suspended by unseen forces. Streams of energy flowed like rivers, and the floating creatures moved with precise patterns as though part of a vast, living machine. Lyra gestured to the city below. Here, we control energy to maintain balance. Each spire, each channel serves a purpose. A mistake can be dangerous. Alex's eyes followed a glowing path that led to one of the taller spires. So one wrong step and it could be disastrous, Lyra nodded. Yes. But humans, you may think differently. Let us see. Before Alex could ask what she meant, Lyra waved her hand. The floor beneath them shifted, turning into a transparent platform that extended outward, hovering above the city. Alex's stomach flipped slightly at the height, but she took a deep breath and moved forward. Balance is everything here, Lyra explained. Walk carefully, observe the energy flows, and do not disturb them. Alex nodded, scanning the glowing channels. With careful steps, she adjusted her weight and pace to avoid disturbing the invisible currents. She felt the hum of energy under her boots, a subtle vibration that warned her if she misstepped. Despite the strange sensations, she remained calm. Lyra watched closely. Her eyes reflected amazement. Humans were supposed to be fragile and hesitant, yet Alex moved with precision, even improvising slight adjustments when a small energy surge shifted the platform. "You are different," Lyra murmured. "Your species shows courage without recklessness." "How?" Alex shrugged. "I focus on what I can control. Fear doesn't help, action does." Lyra studied her silently for a long moment before leading her to the next challenge, the city's energy maze. The maze was a network of floating platforms suspended above an open void. Each platform carried a unique energy pattern, some stable, some shifting rapidly. A wrong step could send someone plummeting, though the alien city had safety protocols that prevented death. "This maze is designed to test reaction, understanding, and adaptability," Lyra explained. "We have seen many fail, even our own." Alex examined the layout carefully. The platforms pulsed with a rhythm, some glowing stronger than others. She noticed patterns in the movement, shifts that were predictable once observed. "Do you always analyze first?" Lyra asked, tilting her head. Alex nodded. "Observation is key. Reacting without understanding leads to mistakes." Lyra's eyes glimmered with respect, though she hid it behind her usual calm expression. Alex stepped onto the first platform. It wobbled slightly under her weight, then stabilized. She moved to the next, timing her steps with the shifting energy. The maze was intricate, but Alex relied on logic, balance, and careful judgment rather than fear. Halfway through, a platform shifted unexpectedly, faster than she anticipated. Alex paused, evaluated the movement, then leaped to the next stable platform, adjusting her landing precisely. The maze continued, each step a test of coordination and thought. Lyra followed silently, impressed. Humans, she realized, were capable of calculating risks and acting decisively, even under stress. This was different from alien behavior, which often relied on predictability and procedure. At the maze's end, Alex stood on the final platform, breathing steadily. Lyra approached and extended a hand. "You pass," she said simply. "You do not panic, you act, that is courage." Alex smiled faintly. "It's what anyone would do in my place. You have to focus or failure is certain." Lyra studied her for a long moment. "Perhaps your species' unpredictability is a strength. It allows you to solve problems in ways we cannot." The next challenge came later that day. Lyra led Alex to the city's research hub, a place filled with strange machines and floating tools. Alex observed alien scientists manipulating energy and matter, their motions precise and deliberate. "You will attempt a task here," Lyra said. "It is simple for us but may be complex for a human. Observe, adapt, and complete it." A translucent sphere hovered before Alex, its surface rippling like liquid crystal. Lyra gestured to it. "Stabilize it, keep it balanced in the field, use your hands, your mind, anything necessary, but do not harm it." Alex studied the sphere. It pulsed with energy that reacted to her touch. She tried to move it with small gestures, but it resisted. She realized that the sphere required not brute force, but an understanding of balance. Slowly, she adjusted her hands, moved deliberately, and felt the energy respond to her intent. Minutes passed. Sweat formed on her brow, but she remained calm. Finally, the sphere hovered steadily, perfectly aligned in the field. Lyra's eyes widened. "You have succeeded," Lyra said, her voice soft but impressed. "Most humans would fail quickly, overwhelmed by frustration or fear." Alex shrugged. "It's about observation, trial, and correction. If something resists, you don't panic. You learn and adjust." Lyra studied her silently for a long moment. "You are patient and clever. Courage without thought is useless. You combine both." By evening, the humans were allowed to rest. Alex walked through the city's quiet streets, observing the citizens. Despite their advanced technology, there was a rigidity in their movements, a hesitation when faced with the unexpected. Humans, in contrast, thrived in unpredictability. Lyra's earlier words echoed in Alex's mind. Human courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Later, Lyra returned, standing quietly beside Alex on a balcony overlooking the glowing city. "Do you ever feel fear?" she asked. Alex considered this. "Of course, fear is natural. It keeps us alert, but we do not let it control our actions. We choose." Lyra nodded slowly. "I have studied many species. Humans are unusual. Your courage is not just instinct. It is decision. That is remarkable." Alex smiled faintly. "Maybe humans are full of surprises." Lyra's expression softened. "Perhaps, and today you have proven it." The night came, twin moons rising above the spires, reflecting off the crystal towers. The city seemed alive, humming softly, and Alex felt a sense of awe. She was a human in a world far beyond her own, yet she had met its challenges with calm and reason. Lyra's observation, far from intimidating, had become a subtle game of trust and respect. As Alex lay in her chamber, she thought of the day's events: the maze, the sphere, the observation deck. Each had tested her in ways humans rarely encountered, yet she had adapted, had remained steady. Fear had whispered, but she had ignored it, relying instead on thought, observation, and action. The next day promised more challenges. Alex knew this was only the beginning. Lyra's curiosity, far from diminishing, had grown. And in that curiosity, Alex saw a chance to not only survive, but to teach these aliens something about humanity. Courage, intelligence, and the quiet strength that came from facing the unknown without panic. And somewhere in the city, Lyra watched and thought, perhaps humans are not to be underestimated. Perhaps their courage is something we have much to learn from. The day of the council had arrived. Alex and her team were led through the crystal corridors of the alien city, their steps echoing against the smooth, glowing floors. The walls seemed alive, pulsing softly as if acknowledging their presence. Alex's heart beat steadily, not from fear, but from anticipation. She had faced challenges before, but this was different. This was not just a test of skill, it was a test of perception, of courage in the presence of power. Lyra walked beside her, moving with a calm precision. "The council does not take kindly to hesitation," she said. "Most visitors fail simply because they are overwhelmed by presence. Do not falter." Alex nodded, her mind clear. She had already proven herself in observation and adaptability. Now she would need to prove understanding, diplomacy, and courage in front of those who judged with far more authority than she had ever faced. When they entered the council chamber, Alex was struck by the scale of it. The room was enormous, circular, with spires rising from the floor like crystal pillars. The council members floated slightly above the floor, their forms ethereal, glowing with a soft inner light. Their eyes, multifaceted like Lyra's, scanned Alex and the other humans with intensity. One of the council members, taller and brighter than the rest, spoke. Its voice reverberated through the chamber, yet it was calm, measured. "You claim to represent humans. You have faced our trials. Why should we trust your species?" Alex stepped forward, keeping her voice steady. "We are explorers. We seek knowledge, not conquest. We adapt to challenges and respect other forms of life. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite it. We offer cooperation, learning, and understanding." A murmur passed through the council. They were not used to such confidence from humans. Many had expected fear, hesitation, or pleas for mercy. Instead, they saw calm, reason, and dignity. Lyra watched Alex closely, her expression unreadable. She knew the council would not easily accept humans as equals. To gain their trust, Alex would need more than words. She would need to act, and to act decisively. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Red energy streaks shot across the room, and the floating spires vibrated violently. The council members reacted instantly, but so did Alex. She immediately assessed the situation. A nearby energy conduit had overloaded, threatening to destabilize the chamber. The council members were powerful, but they relied on their rituals and careful procedures. Humans, Alex realized, could act quickly without relying on protocol. She took a step forward. "We need to redirect the energy," she said, pointing to the conduit. "If we don't act now, the structure could collapse." A council member's voice echoed sharply. "You presume to instruct us." Alex met the voice with calm determination. I do not presume, I observe, I act. Without waiting for approval, she moved toward the energy conduit. Her hands hovered over the control panels, alien symbols flashing under her fingers. She did not understand the symbols fully, but she relied on logic, pattern recognition, and intuition. The energy surged unpredictably, but Alex remained calm. She adjusted the panels, channeling excess energy into safe pathways. Sparks flew, light shimmered across the chamber, but she did not hesitate. Lyra watched, her eyes wide with astonishment. She had expected humans to hesitate or fail under such pressure. Instead, Alex acted decisively, guided by reasoning and courage. Minutes passed and the energy stabilized. The conduits hummed gently, the spires stopped vibrating, and the chamber returned to calm. The council members observed silently, their expressions shifting from shock to cautious respect. You succeeded, said the tallest council member. Its voice was quieter now, less severe. Humans, you act where others falter. Why? Alex breathed evenly, not out of pride but necessity. Because inaction is far more dangerous than mistakes. I focus on what I can do, not on fear. Lyra stepped forward, addressing the council. Observe this human. Fear does not control her. She acts with thought, intelligence, and courage. Perhaps this is the essence of your species' strength. The council members murmured among themselves, exchanging thoughts in sounds that resonated like music. Their perception of humans had shifted dramatically. Alex's actions had demonstrated a quality they had not anticipated, courage tempered with intelligence, decisiveness without recklessness. Another threat arose almost immediately. A secondary energy surge rippled through the chamber, and one of the floating spires cracked, sending shards toward the humans. Alex reacted instantly. She grabbed a nearby energy shield device, raising it to protect her team. She guided her colleagues to safer positions while simultaneously analyzing the damaged spire. Contain the energy here, she instructed, pointing to the affected area. Divert it into the stabilizers, then we can repair the spire. The council members watched, some moving cautiously to assist, but all dependent on Alex's quick thinking. Her ability to remain calm and solve problems under extreme pressure earned her an unprecedented level of trust. Lyra's voice was barely audible, yet full of admiration. You do not simply survive, you guide, you lead. That is remarkable. When the immediate danger passed, the council descended slowly to the floor. The tallest member regarded Alex with new respect. Human, you have proven something unusual. Your courage is not blind. It is intelligence applied under pressure, rare among all species we have observed. Alex nodded, keeping her posture calm. I do what I must. That is all any person can do. Lyra smiled faintly, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. You are extraordinary. Not because of strength, but because of choice, action, and reason. Humans may be underestimated, but now you show why you should not be. The council deliberated for what felt like hours. Finally, the tallest member spoke again. Humans, your actions today have shown qualities we have seldom seen. You are not fragile as we assumed. Your courage, your intelligence, and your ability to act decisively, it is remarkable. Alex felt a quiet satisfaction. This was not about victory or conquest. This was about recognition, proof that humans, even among beings far more advanced, could stand on equal footing through bravery, reasoning, and calmness. Lyra turned to Alex privately after the meeting. The council will now allow greater interaction between humans and our people. They respect your species, though it will take time for full trust. Today, you demonstrated that humans are capable of more than we imagined. Alex considered her words. We just acted, that's all. Courage is nothing if it does not come with thought. Lyra's eyes glimmered softly. Perhaps that is the lesson of your species, not power, not speed, but the quiet strength of decision, choice, and action in the face of danger. Over the following hours, Alex and her team began to explore the city more freely, guided by Lyra and other aliens who now viewed them with respect rather than suspicion. They observed alien technology, assisted in minor tasks, and slowly built bridges between their two species. Alex noticed how differently humans and aliens approached problems. The aliens preferred strict procedures, following steps with precision. Humans, on the other hand, relied on observation, intuition, and improvisation. This difference, once thought to be a weakness, became a strength in collaboration. Lyra watched Alex constantly, fascinated. You do not act recklessly, she said one evening, "yet you move faster than we ever would in a crisis. Humans, you combine thought and courage in ways we rarely witness." Alex smiled faintly. "We adapt, we learn quickly, that's how we survive." The days passed, and Alex's reputation grew within the alien city. Citizens whispered about the human who did not fear storms, who solved crises with calm thinking, and who seemed to understand alien technology intuitively. Lyra's observation became admiration, and even caution turned into respect. One evening, as the twin moons reflected off the crystal spires, Alex stood with Lyra overlooking the city. "Do you ever wonder if humans are too different?" Lyra asked quietly. Alex considered the question. "Different doesn't mean weaker. We think, we act, we face what others flee. That's courage." Lyra's eyes shone faintly. "Perhaps today you have shown us a new form of bravery, one that does not rely on force but on mind and will. Perhaps humans have much to teach us." Alex felt a thrill of quiet satisfaction. She had faced alien judgment, survived crises, and proven the essence of human courage. Yet she knew the journey was not over. The Council's recognition was only the beginning. The real test would come in future interactions, challenges that would push humans and aliens to work together in ways neither had imagined. For now, Alex allowed herself a moment of calm. The city shimmered below, a world of wonders and mysteries, and she knew that her courage, tempered with thought and observation, had earned humans a place here. Lyra stood beside her, speaking softly. "You are not afraid, human, even when others would falter. Why?" Alex looked at the alien woman and smiled. "Fear does not guide us, choice does, action does, that is all anyone can do." Lyra nodded, a faint smile on her glowing face. "Then perhaps humans are not to be underestimated, perhaps your courage is a gift." The night settled over the city, quiet and alive, and Alex felt the weight of the unknown, but also the thrill of discovery. She was a human, far from Earth, among beings far older and wiser than her species. Yet she had proven that courage, intelligence, and quick thinking could bridge worlds. And somewhere deep within the crystal spires, Lyra watched and thought, humans, their courage is unlike anything we have seen. Perhaps we have much to learn from them. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Alex and her team moved through the alien city with increasing confidence. Where at first the aliens had observed cautiously, now they approached the humans with curiosity and respect. Lyra became both a guide and a mentor, showing Alex and her team the inner workings of the city while quietly testing them in ways that were subtle but revealing. The city was alive with energy, yet it was fragile. Every structure, every floating spire relied on precise flows of power. One misstep could disrupt the balance. Yet humans, Alex realized, brought a new kind of stability, not through following strict rules, but through careful observation and quick problem-solving. Lyra led Alex to the city's central energy hub, a massive chamber where streams of energy converged in a dazzling display. "Here," Lyra said, her voice echoing softly, "we regulate the city's power. Even a small mistake can have cascading effects. Observe carefully." Alex stepped forward, studying the streams. The energy flowed unpredictably at first, like liquid light, but patterns emerged with careful attention. She noticed minor fluctuations that the aliens seemed to overlook, small signs that suggested possible instability. "Your species is different," Lyra said quietly. "You see details that others miss." "Why?" Alex smiled faintly. "We have to. Survival depends on noticing what others ignore." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting both admiration and curiosity. "Perhaps that is why you act so bravely. You understand consequences. You do not act blindly." As they watched, a sudden fluctuation occurred. One of the main energy streams surged violently, threatening to overload nearby structures. Alex moved instinctively, her hands hovering over alien control panels. She had learned to read patterns quickly, even without fully understanding the alien technology. Using logic and intuition, she diverted the excess energy, stabilizing the flow before any damage could occur. Lyra's eyes widened. "Remarkable," she whispered. "Humans, your courage is matched by intelligence. You think and act simultaneously. Few can do both." The aliens who had gathered to observe the hub now murmured among themselves. Their whispers were curious, respectful, even awed. Alex realized that humans had earned a rare kind of respect, not because of strength or speed, but because of the ability to act calmly and wisely under pressure. Days later, the council requested a joint exercise, a simulation of a natural disaster that could threaten both humans and aliens. The exercise was designed to test cooperation, problem-solving, and courage. Lyra explained that while humans had proven themselves individually, the true challenge would be how they worked with the alien society as a whole. The simulation began. A massive energy storm swept across the city, sending tremors through the crystal spires. Alien citizens panicked, some retreating into safe zones, others frozen by fear of missteps. Alex immediately took charge, calmly organizing humans and guiding aliens to stabilize the energy flows. She noticed that the aliens were hesitant, following strict procedures even when speed was necessary. Alex adapted, combining observation with decisive action. She reassigned energy streams, redirected minor surges, and coordinated evacuations without hesitation. Lyra followed closely, silently monitoring Alex. She had never seen such composure under immense pressure. The aliens began to notice too, following Alex's lead even as they struggled with their fear of improvisation. At one point, a critical conduit threatened to overload, sending arcs of energy toward the ground. Alex calculated quickly, using both human intuition and partial understanding of alien mechanisms. She activated stabilizers in sequence, diffusing the energy just before it could harm anyone. The storm passed, leaving the city intact. Aliens and humans alike were exhausted but unharmed. The council observed in silence, their expressions unreadable until the tallest member finally spoke. "Humans," it said, "you have demonstrated what many thought impossible. Courage, intelligence, and calm action in the face of danger. You do not act blindly, you choose. That is extraordinary." Alex allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. This was not just about survival, it was recognition, the acknowledgement that humans, even among vastly advanced beings, could stand as equals in courage and capability. Lyra stepped beside her, placing a glowing hand on Alex's shoulder. "You have taught us something today," she said softly. "Not by words, but by action. Humans are not fragile. You are capable, brave, and wise in ways we have underestimated." Alex smiled. "We all have moments when fear could take control. The choice is whether to act despite it. That's courage." Over the following days, the humans were allowed full access to the city's knowledge systems. They studied alien technology, shared human science, and began collaborative projects that bridged the two cultures. Alex was at the center of it all, her calm leadership and quick thinking making her a natural liaison. The aliens, who had once been rigid and cautious, began to adopt some human methods of problem-solving. Small adjustments, creative thinking, and flexible responses became part of their routines. Lyra observed these changes with fascination. "Perhaps humans have a gift," she said quietly to Alex one evening. "Not physical strength, not domination, but the ability to act wisely in chaos. That is courage beyond fear." Alex looked out over the glowing city, its crystal spires reflecting the twin moons. "It's not just courage," she said softly. "It's responsibility. When fear is present, you choose to act. That choice defines us." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then perhaps humans are more than we imagined, not invincible, not unafraid, but truly brave." The humans continued to work with the aliens, forming bonds that transcended species. They discovered new ways to harness energy, improve the city's defenses, and even enhance communication between species. Each success was a quiet victory for humanity, proof that bravery and intelligence could create opportunities where others saw only obstacles. One evening, Alex stood on a balcony overlooking the city, the air filled with the soft hum of energy and the distant chatter of aliens. Lyra joined her, silent for a moment as they both gazed at the glowing spires. "You have changed how your species is perceived," Lyra said finally. "We will remember this. Your courage, your calm in the face of danger, it has opened doors for humans that we never expected to open." Alex nodded. "Courage is nothing without action. We did what had to be done. That's all anyone can do." Lyra looked at her, her glowing eyes softening. "Do you ever feel fear?" Alex considered this, then smiled. "Of course, but fear does not guide me. Choice does, action does. That is the difference." Lyra's expression softened further. "Then you are extraordinary human. Not because you are unafraid, but because you act despite fear. That is a lesson for us all." The city settled into quiet harmony under the twin moons. Humans and aliens had faced danger together, learned from each other, and found mutual respect. Alex knew there would be more challenges in the future, but she also knew that humanity had proven itself. They had not conquered through strength or aggression, but through intelligence, courage, and calm determination. As she looked at Lyra, she realized that this was only the beginning. The two species had built trust, and with it came opportunity, not just for exploration, but for friendship, understanding, and shared discovery. Lyra spoke quietly, almost to herself, yet loud enough for Alex to hear. Humans, your courage is different. You do not act blindly, yet you act decisively. Perhaps this is why you endure, why you survive, why you inspire. Alex looked at the alien woman and smiled. Perhaps. But all it takes is the choice to act. That's what anyone can do, no matter the species. Lyra nodded. Then we will remember this day. Humans are not to be underestimated. Your courage, your wisdom, it is a gift. The twin moons rose higher, casting soft light across the crystal spires. Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had faced fear, navigated the unknown, and acted with calm intelligence. In doing so, she had shown that humans were capable of remarkable things, not because they were fearless, but because they chose action over hesitation. The city was alive with quiet energy, a place of wonder and learning. And in the heart of it, Alex knew that humanity had earned a place, not through domination or force, but through courage, reason, and the simple yet profound ability to act wisely in the face of danger. Lyra's final words that evening echoed in her mind. Why do you show no fear, human? Alex smiled, gazing at the shimmering city. Because fear does not control me. Choice does, action does, that is all any of us can do. And with that, a new chapter began, not just for Alex, but for all humans who would follow. A chapter of courage, understanding, and hope. A chapter where humans had proven, in the face of an advanced alien society, that bravery was not measured in strength alone, but in intelligence, calm, and the unwavering choice to act. The night was quiet, yet alive. The city hummed softly, twin moons reflecting off the spires, and Alex felt a sense of connection that reached beyond species, beyond planets, and into the very heart of what it meant to be human. For the first time in this distant world, humans were seen as equals, not because they were unafraid, but because they acted despite fear. And that was more powerful than any force the universe could summon.